Okay, so now I'm going to start with putting the inverts in. The way that I do it, because we're usually tying into a wet pond or a pond that's going to see tailwater, I usually start the inverts a minimum of 4 to 5 feet below grade. So I know that the elevation of the road here is 82.82. So I'm going to take 82.82 minus I'm going to start with 4 feet, okay? So the invert of this pipe right here, actually, yeah, let's start over on this side because I'm going to go, water is going to travel down this way and then down that way. So my slope on this pipe, I'm going to start when I click on it in your property palette, make sure your properties are up. If it's not, then type in PR. I'm sure you already know that. So I'm going to click on the pipe itself. And it's going to give me the start and stop. So it starts at S7 and goes to S1. So S7, the start invert is going to be 78.82. So you're going to have to do the math on it. So the distance is, I'm going to use the whole number up here. So I got 78.82. I'm going to see if I can get a calculator up. Hold on, guys. Calc. So you can see a rolling total, hopefully. See if I can pull it over. $78.82 minus parentheses 24 times. I'm going to use a minimum of 0.0025. Okay, up here in Kentucky, we have minimums usually of 1% is like what we like to see. But in Florida, since we're so flat, we'll use 1/4% or 0.0025 in parentheses. And that is going to equal 78.74. So that's where this number goes here. 78.74. It would help if I used a decimal place and not a comma. 78.74. Enter. What am I typing wrong? 78.74. Enter. There we go. So that is actually 0.34% because I was using a whole number, and that's fine, okay? But the minimum I usually use is 1/4. All right. So now I see 78.74. I am going to hold the inverts right now. I'm only going to hold the inverts, but remember, when you do pipes, pipes are more efficient when the crown of the pipe, that means the top of the pipe, matches, not the inverts. Pipes are more efficient when they are matched crown to crown. What that means, if I go from a 15-inch pipe to a 24-inch pipe, I have a difference of a 0.75 feet, right? So 15 minus 24 gives me 9 inches. 9-inch difference is 9 divided by 12. Yeah, 0.75. So 0.75 feet. So I would have an elevation difference between the two inverts. I am going to start with invert to invert just to make my life a little bit easier. All right. So the invert of this pipe here is 78.74. So on this one, I'm going to do, the start is 78.74. Now, I wish there was a little bit easier to do this than just pulling up your calculator. You can buy add-ons. We do not have that here. So minus parentheses, and I see 160, let me move this out. This one's 163 minus 163. I am going to actually go 164 because then I won't get that 1/4%. 4 times 0.0025 close parentheses equals 78.33. 78.33. Enter. So there's my perfect 1/4%. All right, 78.33. So I'm going to take this one and go 78.33. And that length here is 49 feet minus parentheses 49 times 0.0025, close parentheses, equals 7820. 78.20. Okay? So I'm going to take 78.20 here, start, 78.20, enter, and I am going to see that it is 160 feet minus parentheses 160 times 0.0025 and close. So that's going to be 7780. 77.80. Enter. I'm missing my 7. All right. So now I got 7780. And then I see it's 63 feet. So I'm going to click on this one. 77.80. And it is 63 feet. So minus parentheses 63 times 0.0025. I also use the 0025 because it gets me my cleaning velocities at the minimum with a 15-inch pipe. Cleansing velocity using Manning's equation, if you all don't know it, then we'll talk about that in class. Gets me a cleansing velocity of 2.5 feet per second. So this is 77.65. 77.65. Enter. Okay, so that's only 24. So I'm going to use 77.64. Okay, I want 25. So I go 77.64. And on this one, I am going to just go 77. Okay. I'm going to put it at a higher percent. I'm going to see what, I don't know what the bottom of my pond is going to be just yet, but I know natural ground over here is 74s right here. So my guess is I'm going to make my pond bottom approximately I know that this natural grade, there's a 72, 73. I'll probably make my pond bottom a 71 and then tie back into these grades over here. So technically, I would put this bottom to the elevation of whatever my pond is. So I'm going to assume it's 71 right now. I can always change this later. Now, I'm going to go ahead and freeze that off. I keep seeing it and I want to get rid of that. I'm going to freeze that off. Sorry, sidetracked. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to put in all of this information. I'm going to take all of this information and put it into the bottom here. Oop, I forgot to do one more. So I started up here. I forgot to do this one. So let's take a look. So this is, the invert is 7780. So I know that the end invert is going to be, of this pipe, is going to be 7780. And the start of the pipe, we know that the rim is at 80.69. So if I take 80.69 minus 4 feet, it is 76.69. So does anybody see what went wrong? It's going the wrong direction. So if this grade elevation is supposed to be 76.69, then I am sticking out of the ground. So I want to show you something. So just using the minimum percents doesn't work all the time. So what I'm going to do is I am going to click. I'm going to select. I'm just selecting a few. I'm going to right click and select similar. Now, if you have multiple profiles, this doesn't work. Selecting similar does not work. But since I only have one profile, it works for this one. I selected similar. And I am going to... Oh, I didn't do what I wanted to do. Looks like I'm going to be selecting them individually. I should have been able to just click on it, and then say, see how this pops up with this pipe network here? Now I'm going to go select similar. There we go. I must have been touching something else. So I only want the structure in the pipes and then select similar. Again, you can only do this if you only have one profile. Now, when this pops up, the Pipe Network Storm, I want you to click on Draw Parts in Profile. Click on that, and then come down here. It says select the profile view. I'm going to click here first, and then I'm going to click down in this viewport and click on this profile. All right, you can see I am above the ground. I also, it appears, these two manholes did not get selected. So whoops, it's because they're a different style. So I'm going to select these two, and I'm going to draw parts in profile, come down here and click the profile, and it draws. Okay, now here's the thing. The reason these are down is because the structure themselves, I'm going to start up here first. The structure themselves, if I click on this and I go structure properties, I click on the top part here, it pops up this, and you can see that here's the sump behavior is -1. Change that depth to elevation, and see how it says 79, and then change it back to depth. I'm sorry, elevation. So the sump elevation is going to be the same. So it's going to be 79.82. Okay, and then I'm going to change the depth to 0.1. It just makes it static. I'm not actually putting a sump in there, apply and okay. It just makes it aesthetic. The first one got drawn. Now I have to do it again. So I'm going to click on the structure, right click. You can do structure properties this way. It's the other option. Change where it says sump behavior, change that to elevation. Change the sump elevation to the actual 79.74. Enter. And then change that back to depth. And then you're going to type in 0.1. Again, we do not have a sump situation here, but aesthetically in the drawings, it looks good. Apply and okay. Most jurisdictions do not allow sump elevations. Now I'm going to change the structure, right click, structure properties, elevation. Now your company, when you work for it, might have a different method. 79, I'm just showing you one method, okay? I'll show you what it looks like without it. Apply and okay. All right, I'm just gonna do it that way. Right click, structure properties, oops. Right click, structure properties, change it from sump behavior, change that to elevation, type in 79.20, apply and okay. All right, now this is where it goes wonky. So I am like way not working here. Okay, so you can actually, you can only do this if you're actually in a drawing that has the pipes in it. So I can see that I'm way above the ground. We know that from the grade, and I'm just going to draw a line from where that low point is. I'm going to delete this line. From where this low point is, I'm going to draw just a straight line over. And I'm going to copy this line, CO for copy, and I am going to bring it straight down. My ortho is on. I'm going to bring it down, I want to bring it down 2 feet, but because this is an exaggerated scale at 10, I'm going to bring it down 20, which is basically 2 feet. Now that means I have 2 feet of cover over the top of this pipe. So I'm going to grip this. See how this pipe, I can grip it. When I click on this, I can grip this and I can actually drag it down to here. And now I've got 2 feet of cover. Now I have 2 feet of cover at this point. I don't have 2 feet of cover here. So what I need to do on this one is I'm actually going to use, I'm going to turn my ortho off. I'm going to turn my snaps off. All right, I'm going to get rid of that. All right, delete. So this magenta line is a projection of if there was no vertical curve. I'm just holding where the PVI is, not the actual low point. I'm going to copy this, CO for copy. I'm going to copy the line that I just drew down F8. I'm going to turn my ortho back on. 20, which is 2 feet. So I need to get, this isn't 2 feet of cover. So I'm just going to eyeball it and I'm going to bring it down a little bit more. Okay, I just want to make sure that I have cover over the top of my pipe. Okay, because if you don't have cover, then the pipe can get crushed. So let's take a look in this to see what that invert is. So you can see that now I've got this steeper slope on this one. So the invert of that is 7407. So I'm just going to make this an even 74. Okay, so now what I want to do is on this one, that's this pipe here, I'm going to make the bottom 74 and the cover over that, the 4 foot initial drop. Remember, we were taking the elevation 8069 minus 4 feet. 8069 minus 4 feet is 76.69. Okay. Now, we need to get this adjusted properly. So I'm going to click on the structure up here. I'm going to right click and go Structure Properties. So the surface is fine. I'm going to change the elevation. So now my elevation is correct. Apply and OK. And the reason it sticks up above is because there's a rule in the Civil 3D program that says you have to have a minimum of cover. So that's why the top of the manhole is, or the structure is being projected above. Okay, so on this one, our invert out was 74. So 74. And 74, let me get my calculator out so I will clear. So 74 minus 63 times 0.0025 equals 7368. So 73.68, and there's that. All right, so now I have 7368 here. All right. I want to take a look at the structure, see how it's still sticking up. So click on the structure, right click, Structure Properties, and I'm going to change my sump behavior to elevation, apply, and OK. Notice that it dropped it down for me. Also, this manhole didn't get drawn, so click on it, draw parts in profile, and there is the structure did not pop up. Let's draw that again. Well, it would help if I could click on it, draw parts in profile, click on the profile view. How very odd. I'm going to grip this and see if it readjusts and draws. There it is. I don't know why it did that. I've been having that same issue. I think it might be a Civil 3 version issue. All right, so what I want to do is, okay, the reason this isn't connecting, the reason this doesn't have an invert elevate or a rim elevation is because I don't have a surface here, okay? I'll have to put an elevation. I have to grade this surface to get it. But for right now, I'm going to draw a polyline, and I'm just going to figure out this elevation based on what my, so I'm going to do midpoint, what my profile says. And I'm bringing it straight up. Okay, I'm going to change this to 0. All right, so what is the elevation where those two lines intersect. I'm going to change this to continuous. To get that, I'm going to go annotate. I am going to go add labels. I am going to go to profile, view, and I'm going to go station elevation, leave this as is, and I'm going to click add. It's going to ask me to select a profile. I'm going to select this one. I am going to shift right click, and I'm going to snap to the apparent intersection right there, and I'm going to snap to the apparent intersection again. Okay, so the elevation is 7957. I'm going to assume, so I'm going to draw a P line, or I'm sorry, I'm going to do, I'm going to measure from the center of this object, or the center of the manhole, perpendicular to the profile line, or the alignment. It's 12 feet, 12.07. And I know at that elevation, it's 7957.8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this out, 79.578 minus parentheses 12.07 times 0.02, which is 2%. So I'm going to assume the top, the rim of that manhole, because I want 2% cross slope, the rim of that manhole is 7933. Okay, so I'm going to click on the manhole. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go structure properties, and then I'm going to change this to false, and I'm going to type in 79.33. Enter. I'm going to go elevation, apply, and OK. It doesn't touch the alignment because I have cross slopes. So I'm also going to turn that because I might want to use it later. I'm going to turn it, but I'm going to put it on the layer 0 no plot. And just pull it F8, get it out of the way. Okay? So that gets me my structures in there. The mitered end section isn't drawn, and that's fine. And I'm not worried about the mitered end section showing up in my profile. All right, so that gets me the pipes. As we labeled in the plan view, we are going to label in the profile view. So if you've closed that, no worries. Come up here to annotate, click to the top, add labels, pull this down, go pipe network, change this to entire network profile. Since I only have one, sometimes you'll only want to do a single part, but I'm going to do the entire network profile. I'm going to change this as PP Storm, and I'm going to change this as profile. I'm going to leave that as standard. I'm going to go add, and I'm going to select one of my structures. Notice that it labels everything for me. So now I'm just going to bring these, and I'm going to pull them over to the side. It has the same information as what's in the top, or it should. So typically in plan view, what we have in the top is this style here. When I click on that style, I want to change that to plan storm structure style. Okay, so I'm going to come and I'm going to select all of these, and I can visually see these. I don't need to zoom in on that. And I select all those. I can change this to plan storm structures. And then when you're working on it, to clean it up, you can pull it closer, okay? Also, this one we don't need, that RCP in the center, no worries. So on these, go ahead and pull these out. I'm going to put all the storm information down at the bottom for right now. I might clean it up and put it at the top. I haven't decided yet. Some companies have a preference of where their information lies, like the labeling. Like I said, the cross pipes, I don't want it listed as RCP. I'm just going to go ahead and just delete that. And now we have our storm. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete these miscellaneous lines. Delete that. So now we have our storm in here, okay? And we have our storm at the top. Usually the cross pipes, when they show up like this, when you really can't see them, a lot of companies go ahead and don't show the cross pipes. They will if it looks like this one, but they won't if it shows like that one. And usually if it's a cross pipe and it shows up in the plan view, they'll leave it like this. But when it shows up in plan and profile, if this one's in the plan view and that's the profile, what they'll do for this one is they'll actually change it to just a different label style. And so I'm going to show you a label style where, well, I'm going to, you know what, for right now, I'm going to leave it as is. I'll show you later. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop here. In the next lecture video, I'll show you how to actually size the pipes and do drainage areas.